What is up, podheads? Today we have the CFX Pro 6.5 horn-loaded Mamma Jamma from Down4Sound. These things come in at about $350 a pair and 200 watts RMS. Let's see if this horn blows us away. So in order to limit the low-end distortion on this speaker, I set a high-pass crossover of 145 Hertz. Now keep in mind that I did measure the mid-range and the horn separately. So this is a measurement for the mid-range by itself. Overall response of the mid-range is pretty good. It's fairly flat, not too shabby, but it has this painfully high screech at the top end starting at about 5,800 Hertz. Keep in mind, this is without the horn. So when wiring this thing up and doing it, you gotta have at least some sort of bandpass crossover, crossing it over with a high pass and a low pass at the same time. Because if you try to run the horn without the mid-range being passed, without the mid-range having a low pass, it's gonna be banana. The mid-range requires 25 watts in order to reach 110 decibels. At 110 decibels, distortion of the mid-range is really good. Everything's under 2% at 110 decibels for the mid. It's really impressive. And overall, the frequency response for the mid-range is not too shabby. It's not incredibly flat, but it's not too bad. At 100 watts, output increases to about 115 decibels, and distortion stays fairly well maintained at under 5%. Not too shabby. For some reason, I didn't bring it up to 150 watts, but whatever. Now, this is the proper way to cross over the mid with 145 high pass and a 3K low pass. The 3K could be adjusted a little bit. I didn't spend too much time playing with it. But this is about the frequency response you're going to get out of the mid when crossed over properly. Looking at the horn. Response for the horn, for a tweeter, it's all right. I mean, it's not great. Distortion is very well maintained at low power. In order for the horn to match the level of the mid-range at 110 decibels, you need to give it 6 watts of power. However, giving it 6 watts of power, distortion goes really crazy and almost hits up the 10% mark, which doesn't come anywhere close to matching the mid-range distortion at that volume level. So the CFX Pro 6.5, overall it's a cool speaker. The mid-range plays really well. The horn, I'm not a fan of horns anyway. The horn doesn't play very well, and that's the thing for all horns. They don't play well. It's not an SQ device. But if you want to get loud as hell on your motorcycle or anything like that, I think it's a pretty good option, especially $350 compared to other speakers in this market. It's not too bad. Boosh.